Hi everyone, welcome to Crafting with Cora. Today I want to show you how to glitter a wine glass. So I've chosen a stemless wine glass. You can use a wine glass that has a stem, a cup, a mug, coffee mug, anything like that. This is the same method that we're going to be using. The glitter that I have today is black and some bling. So what I want to create is kind of a galaxy nighttime sky kind of vibe on my wine glass. The glitter I got from designblanks.ca. We're going to be using some Mod Podge. This is where I like the dishwasher Mod Podge. I find it stays a lot better on your glass, but you don't ever want to soak your glass. Anytime there's glitter on it, it's going to peel it off. This Mod Podge I got at Michael's. You can use 50% off coupon. They come not so bad for price. I have an extra plastic cup here, so I'm going to be mixing my black. So because the night sky is mostly black, I'm going to add 2 spoons of black. You want to make sure you shake off completely your spoon after you're using it so there's still some residue, because then you don't want to stick it into your bling with some black in it already. You're going to ruin this batch of glitter. So I'm just about estimating how much glitter I'm using. Doesn't matter if I need to make more, at least I know that it's 2 scoops of the black and 1 scoop of the bling. So I'm just going to mix it all up. So this is just going to add a little bit of extra shininess to my black. So I'm just mixing it all up. Preferably you want to use a cup that has a flat bottom so that your glitter doesn't get into creases. So as you're pouring, you don't get clumps of black or clumps of bling. It makes a really nice shiny color. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'll show you on the cup after. So now I'm going to grab my foam brush. In this plastic cup here, I did already add some Mod Podge. I find it really important to use a clean brush and to kind of use another cup. Doesn't matter what the cup is, to put your Mod Podge in, because as you're going to be glittering and you're going to be sealing with your second coat, you don't want this container contaminated with this color of glitter, because next time you go to use it, it's still going to be in there. So then if you're trying to do some pink or some white, you're going to have some excess of the black and the bling. So I always use a separate container. I just find it a lot cleaner and it makes your container last a whole lot longer. So we're going to take the glass. So what I want to do is I want to cover the whole glass. If you want to just do half a glass, you can use a piece of electric tape. I can show you how to do that in another video. But for this one, I really want to cover the whole cup. So you can take your brush and start painting it on. Now, when working with Mod Podge, you really want to make sure that you work quickly. Mod Podge dries very quickly. So I'm going to cover this whole wine glass, and then I'll show you what to do next. So I'm just moving through this quickly. Don't worry if it takes you a little bit longer to apply your glue the first time. You can always just do sections, do a quarter of the cup, glitter it, and then go back and do Mod Podge again until you're done the whole cup. You want to go all the way to the rim. Sometimes I even get some on my hands. All right, so now it seems to be fully covered. So what I do then is I put it on my paper, my gluing paper. I make sure that there's no glue anywhere on my hands, because I don't want any of the glitter stuck to my hand. And I'm going to take out my second piece of paper. Now for bigger items, I tend to use a full sheet of paper, because you need to put a little bit more glitter on than you would on your, say, an acrylic blank or on your ornaments. So I'm going to take my bling glitter and my black mixed and just sprinkle it on. Now don't worry as if you're going through a lot of it's falling off and you're wondering how come, my cup is getting so empty and I'm not panicking. Don't worry, if I get to the end and I'm still missing some, I'm just going to grab what's on the piece of paper and add it. So you want to make sure you go all the way to the edge. This is where it's really important that your hands aren't full of glue. Makes it a lot easier to clean your hands after. So I've used up everything that's in my cup and I'm still missing some spots here. So I'm going to set it down on my paper with the glue. Take this paper, scoop it back in here. I'm going to stick my hand back in here and keep going. So you want to do that till it's all covered. Now I can still see my hands through the glass. That's okay. You'll always need more than 1 coat. Seldomly you're going to need one coat. I always do two just to be sure. Sometimes, you know, you accidentally hit it. You nudge it while it's still drying. For whatever reason, you see that you're going to need a second coat. So now that this is done like this, you're going to let it dry overnight. Now, I always say overnight. Some people say 12 hours, some people say 6. It's totally up to you how long you want to let it sit. I usually let it sit overnight just to be 100% sure that my glitter is really stuck on there before I add any more glue and I add any more wetness to it. So I'm going to let it dry. All right, so now I'm going to grab one that's dry. And as you can see, it's still see-through even though it's dried. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the brush again, go back over it, and add a thin layer of Mod Podge, and we're going to go over with the glitter again. So I usually dab on my Mod Podge, and then I kind of just brush stroke it very, very lightly. You're going to take your glitter all over again, and you're going to sprinkle it. So you want to do this to the whole cup. Shake off the excess. And now you can see, you don't see my fingers through. So adding a second layer, sometimes depending on the color, you may have to add a third layer. So the glitter you want to be using is ultra fine glitter. So what's good with the ultra fine is that it's very, very, very small. So it covers a greater area on your cup. Instead of kind of having some spots in between, they kind of all fall in together and they build like a little wall around whatever you're trying to cover. So now to seal, I just use the same Mod Podge and I just dab it over like this. So I just dab it over and then I let it sit overnight and then your glass is ready to use. So now if you're going to be using the dishwasher safe Mod Podge, make sure you read the instructions on it. It actually says to let it dry for 28 days in order for it to be dishwasher safe. You can use it before. These are all hand wash only. I wouldn't put this in the dishwasher just to be safe. I wouldn't want glitter all over my plates and stuff that I eat with every day. It's totally up to you what you want to do, but I generally tell anybody I make the cups for that they're hand wash only. Don't let them soak. You can wash them as you do a regular cup and rinse them out and stuff, and the water won't damage it. The glue is water-based, so once you put water into it, it's going to start working at it. So the longer you leave it in water, the more your glue is going to peel up. So now that we're done, it's completely sealed. I usually let it sit and dry for about at least 3 or 4 days before I even use it or touch it or anything like that. I recommend you waiting the full 28 days. I've had used some before and they've lasted, and I've waited the 28 days and they've also lasted. So I can't say either way, but I'm thinking if their instructions are stating that you should wait 28 days, it's probably a good recommendation to wait that long. So that's it for Crafting with Cora. Thanks for checking out our video. Happy crafting.